Well, India has never given the kind of priority or importance to cybersecurity that it actually deserves. So, when I look at the legal frameworks, I find that as of now, India does not have any dedicated national law on cybersecurity. This at a time when a lot of other countries have started coming up with distinctive laws. China has got three distinctive national legislations on cybersecurity. You have smaller countries like Vietnam and Singapore coming up with dedicated national cybersecurity laws. Australia has come up with its anti encryption law. So you find this constantly growing big tribe of big boys who are now coming up with national laws on cybersecurity because they've realized that internationally there's a big policy vacuum. Internationally, we don't have a cyber law in place. We don't have an international cybersecurity law in place. The only thing that we have internationally is the Budapest Convention or the Convention on Cybercrime of Council of Europe, but that hardly deals with cybersecurity. Way back in 2015, at the WISIS Forum in Geneva, I had mooted the idea that the world now requires an international convention on cyber law and cybersecurity. And while the idea was nice, the fact is I found there was distinct hesitancy on the part of nation states to bite such a bullet. Why? Because today nation states are doing both covert and overt activities, and they don't want to have any kind of a naming or shaming process by means of which they can potentially be named or shamed. But having said that, the national approach towards enacting national laws on cybersecurity has now become the de facto preferred approach. India has still not fallen in line in that. We have not yet come up with a dedicated law on cybersecurity. The only mother legislation that we have in the electronic format being the Indian Cyber Law. The Information Technology Act 2000 is only is an enabling legal framework for the electronic format, but it does not effectively deal with cybersecurity. It's correct that after the Mumbai attacks, we had amended the IT Act to not only come up with a very exhaustive legal definition of the term cybersecurity, but also coming up with some cosmetic provisions pertaining to cybersecurity, but which were clearly not enough. 2013, we saw India coming up with a national cybersecurity policy. And that was a good policy document which encapsulated the vision of the nation as to what it wants to achieve in the context of protection and preservation of cybersecurity. But unfortunately, as time passed by, it became very apparent that India merely treated the national cybersecurity policy as a paper tiger, as the policy was never ever implemented. As of date, we've already been hearing that the government is wanting to come up and should be coming up in the next year with a national cybersecurity strategy. But my personal belief is that the time for strategy is now long gone. It's now a scenario where Indian networks are being continuously attacked and targeted by state and non state actors. It's not just the Mumbai grids that get attacked, it's not just organizations that get attacked as a result of ransomware attacks. It's individuals, it's critical information infrastructure, and it's governmental networks at large which is on attack. We have to quickly realize that in India, we have a unique kind of a policy vacuum. We don't have a dedicated law on cybersecurity. We also don't have a dedicated law on data protection. We also don't have a dedicated law on privacy. And on top of it, we don't have a dedicated law on cybercrime. Now, when this unique policy vacuum is existing in India, and then comes COVID 19, we suddenly find the ground realities changing completely. We find that with the coming of COVID 19, the golden age of cybercrime has begun. And India is thoroughly unprepared on how to deal with it. So, right now, we are just, on a knee jerk reaction mode. Something happens, a prime minister's Twitter account gets hacked, even for a short period of time. But mind you, that hack is very significant because that hack seeks to then, after hacking the account, comes across with a statement on crypto policies. Now, the hackers clearly have understood the style of the Indian Prime Minister of making these dramatic announcements on social media. And that being so, they have actually went ahead and coming up with these tweets which said that bitcoins will be legal in the country and are legal tender. Clearly, the security was quickly addressed and the account was taken back. And then they've said that whatever tweets that came across ought not to be relied upon. But please understand, here is now the catch. If the topmost man in the country, the Prime Minister, and his Twitter account, official account, gets hacked, then one thing is very clear: nobody is secure. In fact, cybersecurity is a constantly changing and a moving target. What was cyber secure yesterday is not cyber secure today, and what is cyber secure today will definitely not be cyber secure tomorrow. And when we talk of cybersecurity in the context of crypto ecosystem, most of the people tend to believe the blockchain technology to be the gold standard and to be itself the answer for cybersecurity. But I think there are now instances happening where cyber crimes are happening on blockchains and the crypto ecosystem, where cybersecurity breaches are beginning to happen. So now it's going to be a lot of action. The government of India needs to apply its mind and make up its mind at what it wants to do vis-a-vis the crypto ecosystem, vis-a-vis cybersecurity, and ultimately vis-a-vis protecting not just the interests of the netizen users and the Indian citizens at large, but also ensuring that the sovereign interests of the government of India are not potentially prejudicially impacted in any manner whatsoever. So I think it's a very, very complicated mesh of situations that we currently are in, and each one to its own facts. Try as far as possible to protect your own data privacy, your own cyber security, because in the absence of these laws, it's very unlikely that you're likely to get any kind of effective remedies of redress. So it's a vacuum, and I hope quickly the government comes up and moves quickly and comes up with very strong, cogent provisions to protect cybersecurity and also to address the concerns pertaining to the blockchain ecosystem.